I have a 30,000 gallon, 40-year-old pool. We have well water and there is an iron drain pipe. I have iron buildup on the walls of the pool fountain, probably also on the PebbleTech finish, but it's darker, so it's not as visible. The pool's had an undetected leak for 12 years. No professional has been able to find it, including divers. The pool was originally a fill and dump. We converted to chlorine in 2006. I have to add water daily, so I introduce well water regularly. I'm looking into some sort of filtration system for hose water being added daily. I'm wondering if the Ferri Tabs are an option for me. I have a 4-cartridge pool filter. I don't think I have a huge amount of iron in the water. My pool water is clear and tests well. I purchased something to put in the skimmer, but I don't think it will do much. I think the iron has been deposited on the stone for many years. I can brush it off with effort. Iron is heavier in certain areas of the stone fountain, and it doesn't show up at all on the stones in the shallow end of the pool. Any advice, and would Ferri Tabs be helpful?
So first, what I would recommend is doing your best to clean the surface and try to remove as much as possible. And how Ferri Tabs will in fact help is it'll take, and it's called chelating, it takes the iron out of the water as it's being introduced into the pool. So if you're adding water every day, a typical Ferri Tab, you're going to want to add 1 Ferri Tab for every 2 to 3,000 gallons of water. And if you're not adding that much, then based on how often you're adding water, I would use Ferri Tabs. And what that's going to do is that's going to take the iron out of the water that's currently dissolved in the water. It's not going to solve or fix or take care of or dissolve any of the iron that's currently leached into the surface of the pool or on the rocks and other things that you're talking about. What I would recommend doing is cleaning it as best as you can, and then the Ferri Tabs will certainly continue to take iron out of the water as you're using the pool. But what we've done we live in an area where there's an extreme amount of iron, probably one of the highest iron contents in the nation, is we buy a pre-filter. So you can get really fancy with it, or what we do is we go to one of the local Home Depots or Lowe's typically, and we'll take one of their filters that is meant for a home and modify it to work on the end of a garden hose. And so the water, the heaviest content is being filtered out of that as it's being dumped into the pool, and then you use Ferri Tabs. And that's probably what I would recommend, short of getting a super crazy iron removing system. You can do it by simply filtering out some of the content and then a balance of it with the iron, Ferri Tab removers. Short of that, any staining that's currently on the pool, there's several different types of products. You could try to acid wash. You could try to use a vac pole with acid dumped down it to try to get that acid dispersed directly in the area. There are some other natural chemistry products like stain-free that if you follow their instructions very specifically, that will lift some of that iron out of the surface of the pool itself. So short of that, once you have the pool looking the way you want it, what I would recommend doing is add a Ferri Tab. Throw a Ferri Tab in the pool every 2 to 3,000 gallons that you're adding to it. And then what you'll notice is your pressure will go up on your filter, and you have to be diligent in backwashing that out, because you clearly see when you backwash the filter, that water will come out red because it's pulling out all of that iron out of the water. They're very effective removing it from the water. Ferri Tabs are not effective removing it from the surface. That's when you would use like a natural chemistry product to do that.